Welcome to Anne's Spring Look number 2 week of Webisodes. That's right.
It's the sequel.
It's the sequel? She wanted spring so much she's done 2 weeks of Webisodes looking for them, or this is the sequel. And today
we have 3 new templates for you. These are the triple easel cards that are so popular for die cut cards, but now you can use them to make them out of any color cardstock or specialty paper.
As many as you want.
Yeah.
And a new stamp to go along with them. Come play with us. And as promised, here they are, all 3. 3 tends to be our number today.
Right. We have the Heart triple easel card, the Label triple easel card, and the Star triple easel card. And these are all designed by Teresa Welch.
That's right. And we also have the new Made by Me stamps. So these are fun to stamp in different ways, and Anne has some ideas about that. So we're going to start with the Label, right?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So
here's a 12 by 12 template. It is that clear plastic template you can see through, so you can see where you're placing it on your paper. And here are the different elements that are going to be traced on there.
It does take 7 pieces to make any of these triple easel cards.
Right. And
which you have right here.
We're going to start with the Label triple easel. You'll trace the large card base.
Large base right there.
The medium card base.
Right there.
The small card base.
Right there.
And then for your focals on each of these easels, you'll have the large label.
Ta-da!
The medium label.
Which is right inside.
The small label.
Which is right here.
And you also get a tiny label.
Right here.
Which you can use or not use. It's kind of
like
nice.
We're dancing.
Right. But when you should I put them together?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
And there's also score lines on these, so that you don't have to question. They're right there for you, and they're on all the sections, including the small ones.
Right. So while these were done on white, you could do these on any color you want. Right. This is just so you can see them easily. They have been cut out. They have been scored. So first they were traced with a pencil. Then they were cut out individually, scored where indicated on the template, and then you start folding. And you're going to fold this one. Am I doing this right?
You are.
Like so. And it's also going to be folded on this, and both of these, let's see, if I were to place it this way, both of these are mountain folds, but they're going to end up like this. So that way and this way. Now, with the bone folder, that makes a nice fold here and here.
And I think it's a really good idea, just as you've done, to go ahead and fold on those score lines. That way, as you do the assembly, it's just going to be a little easier.
It's a little easier than having to do it afterwards, as well as it makes it also easy for you to know where everything is supposed to sit.
Right.
And with all of these easel cards, when you put these together, you're going to line up the bottom edges of each one of them.
The straight edges.
Right. So you've got that easel and this easel, and the bottom edge is going to be right in the center at the bottom.
So you're going to place them, just as you said, you're going to make them centered on the space. But these are going to line up. Now, you may have decided to cover these with paper first. So, I mean, it just depends, but just showing you the construction.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the back, just that large square area there. And then I'm going to place that centered at the base of the large easel. That goes first. Then I've got this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm doing it over here.
Which is a small piece.
The small easel. And I'm going to do the same, centered and down at the bottom. Each one of these easel cards really is just like that.
Right.
They all have that in common. Okay.
The part that I really like and really appreciate is this next part, is how easy it is to line up those labels.
Right.
So you're going to start with the big one, or you're going to start
with
the little
what do you think? I'll do the small one.
Okay.
So right down. So actually, all I have to do is on this part.
Right.
Just on that lower flap, the one that has the design on the edge, and then you're going to take your label and line it up with the bottom of that. Ta-da!
And it
perfect placement.
Yes.
And now that's ready to sit up like so. And for the next one, you bring down the next one glue just on that bottom part of that label.
So one way to think about it is that you've got 3 sections of each of these, and you put glue on the biggest section from the score line to the end,
right?
And then you put glue from the other score line to the decorative end.
Right. So there you go. And since we folded them, we can really see that very easily where that's going to be.
Before you put that, let's do it on its side, okay? So there's the score line to the decorative end, and then you can lay on.
That's been glued, and then you've got, I don't know if you can see me do it that way. Here we go. Lining it up right on the end like so.
It's going to match perfectly.
It does match perfectly if I can line it up right correctly. There we go.
In midair like that?
In midair. So there you go.
So then the other thing that's fun about these, and we'll show you as we present them, is that you do get, when the recipient receives it,
right,
you get the first one, and then they let that go. And then they see the second one, and they tuck that behind.
Right.
And then they have the third one, but whoops, we need something to tuck.
Right, and that's where this small label comes in place, and you just foam tape the back of it, place it right there, and when it's foam taped, it sits up just a little bit so it holds that in place.
Right.
Now, you can do it that way, and that is on the template, but you can also use any little embellishment, maybe a paper flower or a die cut, something else, so lots of different ways of doing that. And of course, there are not paper patterns for these on the template, but it's not necessary because you can make them out of cardstock, you can cover them with paper, whatever you think of.
So let's get to the project.
Let's do that.
And this is what I mean, is that each layer is a presentation unto its own. So here we have, this is out of the Roses and Lace Dazzles, and what a beautiful focal this is. This is the dazzle part, but it's poking out from the label, which is fine. You just want to put paper behind it, or do baby powders when I use.
Baby I do that too, so it's not sticky anymore. I love the tiny little friends and family dazzles there on that banner.
So there we've got grandmother.
So that's the first thing that they see. And I see that she's chosen to put paper on the backs of those easels as well, so that when you're opening it up, you don't just see a stark white or whatever you're going to.
I bet these are the border dazzles out of that she's used. Isn't it look lacy and pretty?
And she's trimmed it to fit, hasn't she?
So grandmother, mother, best friend, and then she used one of the dazzles
to back and then to
right there
foam tape in place so it holds up that last easel. So each one of them were covered, each one of those easels was covered with a different paper on the front and on the back, just on the, not on the part behind here because that doesn't really show, but on, so you're not seeing it there, but you are seeing it on the back of that easel because you see it when it's laying flat.
Now these cards are what is known as keeper cards. These cards are not going to go in the trash can. These are going to sit on the mantle, sit on the desk, sit on the kitchen counter, and just be admired and loved.
Something that I want to mention about when they're stacked like this. First of all, let's lay it down one more time. So when someone is opening this card, they see that first big, beautiful label. They can see everything on it. Then they open it up. Then they see the next one. They can see it fully. But when they start stacking, you can, you know, when you're all done, you've seen each one of those. Anything you put on the center of that, you're not going to see it unless you turn sideways, which is really beautiful. But one of the options is to put greetings up on the edges so that when you're all done, you can also see it, you know, sort of coming and going. You can see it wherever. But I love that you can see each one of them just in entirety before you stack it.
And get that appreciation, yes, because it's kind of telling a story. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to see more?
Yes.
Okay, this is with Artful Watercolors. And again, what she's done is she's taken the large label, but she's done another of the medium one.
So she used the medium as well for an extra embellishment. So that's an extra matte. You could also put another small one right in the center. You could like keep going. And pyramid style.
Yeah, this has been stamped.
And no, this has been embossed actually with the lilac. There's the lilac zing, I think it is, embossing powder.
Oh,
That stamp set would be from the birthday greetings.
Okay.
So here's that large birthday, happy birthday to you right up at the top.
Okay, so we've got that as our step one, and we go, oh, how pretty, isn't that fun? Look at the flower. This was out of the papers, so that's been simply cut out and foam taped.
And this is from the Artful Watercolors, which we're going to be seeing more here this week.
We will. Then, so happy birthday to you. Count your life by smiles, not tears.
And I love the little pearls that are added above and below.
So this is the paper. Nothing has been done to this. Simply, this has been stamped and the pearls have been added.
Right.
So we've got a little bit, and then we have, oh, look at this. Then we have count your
age by friends, not years.
And then we've got a little bird. So
right, and that's part of the paper as well. So just place that template so that you can cut around that bird.
Yeah, the bird's part of the paper. And then she has used one of the Made by Me stamps, right? Let's see, the handmade by, you can see right there, for her little riser.
Right.
And then I mean, again, it's telling a story, which I think is just lovely.
Right.
There they all are as they would appear sitting on your counter.
Now, we talked about paper, putting paper on the background. Now, you can put this striped paper all along the back first, or what Anne chose to do this time was to lay strips of paper one at a time across the easel and the card base. So
she
one
glued it
strip
together,
here.
yeah, like you did.
Right, she glued it all together, and then she added the paper. Here's a piece. You know, I think that she, you know, honestly, I think that she did the back first. Then she laid down an easel. Then she put a strip of paper all the way across. Okay. Then she laid down the next easel and put a strip all the way across, so that you wouldn't see any white on that base.
Very clever.
Yeah. Great
so
idea.
Again, just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous look. So, in fact, Anne said it was really a fun challenge. She's doing a total of 8 cards in different ways, and that was her goal, her self-imposed goal. And I have to say, I really appreciate that. So now we have one more with the label, and this is it. Now look what she's done here. This is the On Butterfly Wings paper. So she did her label, but first, it looks like she covered the label shape with the On Butterfly Wings paper, and then when she went to trace and cut it out, she let the butterfly extend over the edge of the label.
Well, it's pretty close to that. I want to show you if I have that,
Did I say
template.
It wrong?
Well, it's very close. The template for the label, which is
right here.
Here we go. You take that, and you're going to take that large label, and it's all about placement of that template. And you're going to place it, so maybe this is what you said, and I didn't, right where the butterfly is going off the edge a little bit, you place it just at that right spot, and then you trace around, and you trace just up to the edge of the butterfly wing. So I'm actually only going to trace this part of the label all along the outer edge over here, but when I get back close to that butterfly, I'll stop right at the butterfly, because when I cut, now I'm going to actually cut around this outer edge and then cut around the edge of the butterfly here, so it's going off the label.
Exactly right. And there you go. Now you would probably put that on the cardstock just to give it extra support, because this is going to get handled quite a bit.
Right. It's been matted afterwards on brown cardstock.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So it is just lovely. So it's another way. I always love when the artwork that goes into the papers is really used in the final execution. I mean, why not use that artwork?
Right, as a focal without having to do something separate. Oh, I also wanted to mention that she did this neat little trick of cutting away the edge with an X-Acto knife, the edge of the butterfly, and tucking this ribbon underneath, and it's sort of wrapped around the back of the label.
Oh, so it's not flopping around.
Right, so that's neat.
She did use the copper jewel dazzles, or is what that shine is.
In a very unique way.
Yeah, very neat there, and very fun here. I don't think we've ever seen that before.
Fun little patterns. She used the heartfelt greetings to stamp and emboss that with copper, super fine copper embossing powder.
Now, all that we've been talking about is just this top layer. So let's see what the next part of her story is. So sending happy thoughts, knowing that you are loved. And notice that this is light in color. This goes dark. So we've got a very distinct difference.
She's also continuing that theme of wrapping the label with ribbons. So that's going all the way around. You can probably attach it on the back before you mat it.
And she's also continued the idea of the copper. And then the last one is with love and caring. And look at that kind of smattering of jeweled dazzles around her bow.
And again, with a wrapped ribbon all the way around. So that's what's fun about these. Now, what I really love about this little stamp, it's just a tiny little thing, but she stamped and embossed it twice, once on this brown cardstock and once on this pattern paper, and then she cut out this one just on the inside where that box is.
Got you. So it makes a beautiful frame.
And then just signed her name on it.
Kind of gorgeous, kind of gorgeous. Well executed, Anne. Okay, so again, now this is just the label. Now we're going to move into the heart. Do you want to pull that template over?
So the heart, triple easel card. So very much the same way. It has all of these items. What you're going to end up tracing and cutting out is the large card base, the medium card base, the small card base, and then you have the 3 hearts that once you start putting them together, the hearts line up with that lower flap.
We do it on the sides.
So it's like that.
Same idea where you're going to have those and then just the bottom part.
Right, goes right on there.
So from the score line to the decorative edge, in this case it's a point.
And and the bottom of it is shaped like the bottom of the heart. So you'll have 3 hearts. And you'll also have that little label, which at the end will be foam taped down to prop up the elements of your card.
Should you want to use it. So now here is our first heart-shaped card. And look how pizzazzy this is.
That's great, pizzazzy. I love that.
She has used the pink hearts holographic paper. Isn't that gorgeous? And so that's appropriate in our heart shape. And Anne said that she really had fun with things going outside the shapes, outside the heart label and star shapes. So she wanted to continue that. And this is using the Serendipity flowers, which also has some words on it also.
Right, and she stamped and embossed onto the acetate with a superfine silver embossing powder.
And that's the heat-resistant acetate. And it's sturdy enough that you can do this. You can have that part and know that it's going to stand up.
Right, so you can pop them out. And what I like about this is that she cut the large heart. So you've got the large heart, and she's got the medium heart that she used to mat on the center of that.
Kind of like what we saw on the label. That's an excellent idea. Did some matting. This is the black suede, and it is, I mean, what it does is it's a super saturated color. So what you see, I guess this doesn't tell you any more than that.
Well, it's just, it just makes everything very rich looking.
Now, she did not stamp on the suede. She stamped, all of the stamping was done on the heat-resistant acetate.
Right, and then placed. And I love that it was placed between the 2 hearts here, so it's tucked behind.
And it really gives it a little extra support with that really nice wide edge. So, hello, friend. Well, that's certainly going to make you open that up and go, what's this about?
It looks to me like she, now she cut out each one of these pieces, the easels, out of the
holographic.
Holographic. Did you already show it?
I did.
Okay, there it is. But she also backed this part so that you could see that, and that's something that we're seeing over and over.
Now, her second piece is Live, Laugh, and Love with a much bigger piece on the acetate. Just striking.
It is just beautiful.
And just a little, and again, the next smaller piece is a
matted on the center. And then the easel was actually done on black cardstock. So entirely black cardstock. So she's alternating.
And then Be Happy is her last message.
Very sweet. I love the last little bit here. This tiny little heart, which she actually cut from the holographic paper. So she just cut one of those little hearts out and matted it.
And look at that strip going across all of them. So this black that you're seeing in between, she cut that out of the black cardstock, as you said. So Be Happy, Live, Laugh, Love. And hello, friend.
So just a gorgeous look. One of the things that Anne says she likes to do is to do all of her embossing first and separate. She'll do it not once the card is put together, because if you use a heat gun on a card that's already put together, it can sort of make it warp after the fact.
It does.
She liked being able to do them separate and then add them on.
Now, in this case, she used her Made by Me stamp on the back, so made for you by Anne. So very, very nice. Now, we have another very different look, this time the Artful Watercolors. And so again, she's used the large one, but I think this is the
smallest one, right?
The smallest one.
For the center. So you've got this very large mat there. Oh, look. No, hold on. Look, she cut a window. So this paper on top, she traced with the large, traced with the large heart over the entire piece. And then she's got that small heart that she traced right on the center and cut a window out of that paper.
Okay, and then put it on the put that on the blue cardstock.
She's
did some stamping.
The birthday greetings again to stamp and emboss.
And look at those dazzles. Look at what a fun border she's created as well, and then duplicated it with just a border around there.
So that's fun.
So that's our first, and we have our second. You are the perfect reason to party. Well,
I love the dazzles going around here around the edge.
Same thing again. She's cut a window, although you could just cut it and put it on top. And the dazzles around the edge. And then you've got a very pretty flower.
Which is cut from the papers from the Artful Watercolors paper pack.
And it looks to me like she's done some
embossing with the kaleidoscope.
Kaleidoscope.
That's the kaleidoscope embossing powder. So it's a clear embossing powder with microfine glitter in it.
So she cut that out, hit it with the Versamark. Versamark is clear.
Right.
And then the kaleidoscope embossing powder, and then heated it to melt it.
Right.
Beautiful.
It is. It's just beautiful.
Her last one is cupcakes.
The little cupcakes from the stamp set, the little cupcakes on there. One of the things is that this is cut out of craft cardstock, so that's kind of a contrast to some of the bright things that you're seeing.
It is very, very fun. And did she stamp it? She did. She stamped it again with Handmade by Anne, 100% quality guarantee. That's very nice.
That's a really fun little stamp set, that one.
So very beautiful. Now,
okay,
I have one more. Oh, by the way, those dazzles that were used so well, they're brass ones. Of course, that will tell you in the gallery.
The brass ones, and there are lots of them on there.
Now we
540
have
of them.
another. Yes, there are 540. This is what she did with the butterfly, but using this on the
Sweet Life papers.
Right.
That's something that you're also going to be seeing this week, in our week of Webisodes.
And look at how using that paper, positioning it that way, cutting it just like you explained.
Positioning the template here, you trace around this part of the template, but then you cut around that flower so that it you can have it going off the edge of that heart.
Now, in this case, she's used the Sweet Life papers, but she's also played with some foil papers. These are the two. They're Flourishes in aqua and in pink. And these are 12 by 12 sheets. They're sold
and these are cardstock, so that they're perfect for those easel portions of the card.
Which is what we talked about when we started. You can make them out of anything.
I love the pearls going all the way in a line, but I do want to talk about this just briefly.
Okay.
Anne said one of the things that's great, and this is from the Birthday Greetings stamp set, is that the acrylic, the nice thing that's about the acrylic stamps is that you can sort of move them a little bit. And she was able to bend that Celebrate before she put it on her acrylic block so that she could stamp it and sort of echo that curve.
Oh, very nice. Nice attention to detail. So Celebrate is what our first message is. The next one is Eat Cake, which is a perfect follow-up statement.
Right.
And then the last one is Yippee. So very, very cute.
That's
and
great.
I think the Yippee is coming from the Made by Me stamp.
Is it? Is it on there?
So she had, well, this Yippee isn't, but the shape is. So she can do that, and the Made by Me, you can just mask that off.
No, Yippee is from Birthday Greetings.
Yeah,
okay.
but the shape
Great.
was, the label was for them.
Yeah, the little shape.
And this piece, this flower, is been cut out of the Sweet Life papers, matted, and then foam taped on here.
Right, so on top of it, on that one.
And then there's the Made by Me.
Which was stamped and embossed twice, once on white cardstock, once on the blue paper, and then cut out just the banner.
And I have to say, I don't think I would have thought of using this. I would have kept it to the back of the card, but I think it's a nice statement after these three stories that you get.
In this particular case, we've been talking about covering these with paper, but in this one, since she used the foil cardstock, there's no need to cover them.
So you save yourself a step.
Right.
And this is also a nice example of what you were talking about, that when these are standing up, kind of the inside gets a little bit covered, but Anne's really done a nice job of having these flowers positioned so that they're going to show.
Coming out the outside, so you can still see this great design, the great flowers.
And Yippee is what you see all the time. So very, very fun. Now we are going into stars. So let me bring out that template.
All right.
And guess what, folks? It's going to be the same construction.
The same construction. As you can see, we still have this very same elements, but in this case, they look like this. Large base, medium base, small base. So you've got each one of those bases, and you have 3 stars, 1, 2, 3. Now on the other ones, when you got down to the part where this is folded down, you could see at the bottom of it, okay, this is where if it was pointed, if it was the heart. This one doesn't look like that. This one is not cut out at the bottom for that star. I'm going to do this so you can see it. You're just going to place this anywhere down here at the bottom.
But you want the large star.
Oops, that is the large star. 1, 2, 3. That's a large star, and isn't that right?
4.
Oh no, there's a larger one that
I
forgot to cut out. The largest
show the middle
star.
One then.
The middle one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
You've got the middle star.
I do. So there we go. So when you do the large star, the edges line up like this.
Perfectly, just like this.
Perfectly, just like that. So that's how you're going to just line the points up down here with these points.
And this is left for stability because these 2 tiny points aren't going to be enough to hold it up.
Right. Once you fold this down and then you fold it up here, you want it to be able to hold on something, so you've got to have that edge. And so you can cover that with some other kind of paper, and you'll see just how.
Now, there are 4 stars in this, so you get the large outside of the orange, and then the middle one is the inside of the orange star. Then you can see this star, and then you have a little one in case you want to use that as your riser.
Right, instead of that little rectangular label that the other 2 had.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
This is magnificent.
I just hope they're ready.
Are you ready? Look at this. Isn't that just amazing?
It's a wonderful idea. And this is using the Easy Circles template to cut out a circle from acetate. So it's very simple to use that template. You cut out from acetate one of these. It looks like that.
And the Easy Circles template has circles from 2 inches to 11.5 inches. And it's kind of hard to show you this. There we go. And you can do it with a circle of dots, circle of dashes, or a solid circle.
Right.
And Anne has done that, and then she's really played off of the star idea. So this is the medium and the small star, not the tiny one, offset.
And this is from our pearl sheets. We have the gold and silver pearl sheets. They are self-adhesive.
Gorgeous, with the black matting.
I love that she used all the sizes of the stars and well, almost all the sizes, and offset them up to the left instead of just centered, so that makes some interest.
And so that circle behind the star, I think, is just quite brilliant.
It is just beautiful. And that's embossed with the superfine gold, and that's done with the heart-to-heart stamp set. So there's the I love you on the center.
So
it also has stars, so you can put little stars all over it. There's a little stars.
I wonder where those stars came from. Okay, thank you. So we have that is our first part of our story.
Oh, looking back too.
Are there stars back? Oh, stars and moons back there. Very fun.
That's a
on black
idea.
cardstock. So she cut all of her pieces out of black cardstock. I love you. to the moon and back, and we've got some little stars poking out.
So use those little stars as embellishments.
And then we have our, look at that, partial circles going between two of the points.
So she cut the entire piece from a circle, and then she cut out in this area so she could sort of get it radiating out of two sides there.
And look what she's done on the sides of the cardstock. She's done more of the heat embossing.
Added more of them. That's not heat embossing, that's the gold pearl, so she cut those with the template as well. She reused that little heart, and that little star over and over.
Did the same thing right there. So you have your plethora of stars that give you that wonderful message, and you've really got some extra things poking out. So you've got stars everywhere.
It plays a starring role.
Billions and billions. Okay. We have one last star, and this is very fun. This is out of the Sweet Life papers. And in this case, she's used one of the smaller stars, and this is out of the brown ripple.
The brown ripple, and Anne said that she kind of liked that this gave a creamy chocolate look to go with the Sweet Life papers, which is all about ice cream. So,
so you've got me. It's proclaiming.
And here's another one of those windows that tracing the outer star, and then tracing the smaller star in the center and cutting it out.
And here is why that is smart, is because this is a cardstock. So this is going to be super sturdy. So she could do her paper to go on top of it and use this as her base.
Right, so it's just the brown has only been used once for the large star, and she didn't have to cut a second one, she just cut the paper out.
I also like the ribbon being wrapped very tightly around the bottom of that star.
Around the star and I think around the easel, and then you've got these white jewel border dazzles radiating out from the center of it.
So you've got me, and I've got chocolate. Now here she did this on the acetate again.
Right, and this is kind of getting fun. Now she's got a window cut through both the star and the easel. Do you see that? I'm going to show you just briefly how she did that. She has this piece cut, and then I'm going to need that star template because I'm going to show you.
This is the middle one,
right? The star template. So first she traced, once she had this piece traced and cut out, then she traced and cut out the medium star, and then she traced and cut out the smaller star, right, there it is, the small star right out of the center.
In the center.
So now she's got a star frame. Then she said she briefly glued just down at the base, and maybe you can just hold it or maybe glue it if you have to, just down at the bottom. So this is normally where you would attach it, and go ahead and trace a window just like so.
Okay.
All right, so she's got that. First she matted it on the ripple paper, which I didn't really take the time to show that, but then once you pull that away, then you cut out that window. Make sure you don't get too close to these points. I probably could have moved that up a little bit. So now you've got this traced out of the window so that when you're ready to place your easel, you've got the frame sitting right on top of that. Back this with acetate, then place it on there, glue it in place, and then it goes through and you can look at it like that.
And that's what she's done right there.
And she did that on this one, and I think on the small one as well.
She did. So you've got me, I've got chocolate, and we'll share a cupcake. And then down here, she has done another of the made by me, but in this case, is this one where she heat embossed? Yes.
This is not with that one, not yet.
This is our last card.
It is?
Yep.
Oh, we missed it. It was on this. We'll show you that in a second.
Okay.
So this one was heat embossed on one of those, so just cut out and then matted on the ripple.
So this is how this story is going to present, and you've got windows into the previous one.
That's a great
And
one.
we forgot something, right?
Yes, we did. We forgot to show on the back, that's what the Versamark is for. So if I collapse this little card down, on the back, she put made for you by, and she used the Versamarker to add her name, which I don't think about that often enough. I use it for lots of other things, but.
So this is Versamark ink pad in a pen form, so she could write her name.
Which she did.
And do the heat embossing along with the stamp.
So that's great.
Yes.
Great idea.
Okay, so we have, wrapping up, we have hearts.
We have hearts, we have stars, we have labels.
I don't know where my star
Beautiful
is.
cards.
And we have the Made by Me.
I have the star.
You got the star.
There's the star, but there's the star card, which is what I'd rather look at. Just beautiful.
And some wonderful, brilliant ideas. We want to thank Anne for doing such a superlative job.
And we'll see you tomorrow for day 2.
Of spring number 2.
Sequel.